So, are you ready for winter? The snow is coming here in the UK and we get it quite bad. Sometimes we've had about an inch of snow. No, compared to some of our viewers, that's insignificant. So I thought we'd just have a little bit of a discussion on preparing your car for the bad weather. A few checks that we need to do before winter starts kicking in, so we can just be prepared for the worst should it happen. And I would love to hear from you who actually have some serious snowfall and other problems in winter that I'm sure you've got lots of tips that you can pass on for the benefit of all of our viewers. So we never really like working on a car when it's really cold. I know I don't. Checking tyre pressures, checking oil levels, they're things that tend to be relegated to a lower importance than staying in the house and drinking cocoa, if I'm honest, and I'm sure that's true of most of you. So it's a good idea really to get on top of these things before that cold weather actually starts to hit seriously. So I just encourage each one of us to go out and check our tyre pressures and check the levels in the car, the fluid levels. If you can check the gravity of the antifreeze as well, that's also a good precaution to take, and just make sure that your car is set up for the winter. The last thing you want is all the water in your engine freezing and causing damage to the engine block. So a lot of people actually recommend that you carry certain things in the car that you don't need to in summer. Now the obvious is de-icer, antifreeze, that sort of thing. So you'd certainly have a can of that in the car ready to use should the frost start to form on the windscreen. If you've got any tips on how to avoid frost, let me know. I've tried a few methods and I've never really found anything that successfully completely avoided frost. I did use a spray-on solution that prevented frost, but actually there was no frost in the town. So either it was extremely effective and it just stopped the frost everywhere when I used it, or I just used it at the wrong time, so I never really got to see how effective it was. So in areas where you expect more snowfall, we talk about putting survival kits in the car, making sure we've got rations, dry foods, that sort of thing that can just stay in the car and sustain us overnight should we find that we are stuck in the car. I think of those poor drivers recently in Canada that were stuck on the road for 8 hours in snowfall. So a pretty serious problem to have, and it also makes sense to just carry a bottle or two of water just so you've got something to drink while you're stuck in the car. A lot of people also recommend carrying a shovel so you can just dig yourself out of the snow should you find yourself stuck. Now when it comes to driving in snow, there's lots of different methods, lots of different approaches. If you've got a four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive or quattro set up on your car, then you've certainly got the advantage, but don't forget your car is still subject to the laws of physics when it comes to stopping, so don't overdo it. You've got the traction in the corners and you can get away, but you will still have restrictions and problems when it comes to actually stopping the car. So a lot of drivers are under the impression that by driving on the compacted snow they get the best traction, which actually isn't true. If you can drive on uncompacted snow, you get much better grip and much better traction. It's one of those things, it's just something overlooked by a lot of drivers, but that simple piece of knowledge is sometimes enough to just get you out of trouble. And starting the car in second gear rather than first gear, you'll avoid a lot of wheel spin. Now you've noticed that when the wheel spin actually starts, it tends to get worse. The tyres tend to dig themselves into the ground and you start getting stuck and other problems. So very, very gentle accelerator inputs are certainly essential. So just review your driving style during this winter period, particularly when the snow and the ice starts forming. Give yourself extra time to react, keep your speed down as well. We certainly want you all to stay safe through the winter period. And I know it's very tempting to go out and have fun in the snow and try a few handbrake turns and all that. So despite the obvious issues of illegality and reckless driving in most regions and most areas, I see so many people where it goes horribly wrong. You've got your family car that you rely on and you've attempted to have a little bit of fun in the snow and completely misjudged it. Now in the snow things happen far more slowly, but you don't have as much of an option to respond because you've got no grip and no traction. So once the car starts to slide, it's pretty much out of control. So you really do want to aim to stay in control of your car at all times, especially when the snow and the ice hits. If you've got some driving tips on pulling away in the snow and driving in snow, please pass them on. Another obvious modification that people do to their tyres during this winter time is switching to winter tyres, which have a different tread pattern that enables you to get more grip and more traction, and it really does make a night and day difference to the handling of the car. So if you expect a longer period of cold weather, Certainly worth investing in a set of dedicated winter tyres just to get you through. And a lot of people I know actually keep a spare set of rims in the garage at home, so they can just change out the rims and the tyres as a set rather than having to get the tyres refitted each season, which can prove to be quite inconvenient and quite expensive. Now obviously things like snow chains and various other things you attach to the tyres to improve traction generally will work, but you do need to be in snowy conditions. You certainly wouldn't want to just leave them on the car in case it snowed. Driving around with those things on is just a crazy idea if there's no snow and ice about. So if you found a brand or a technique that works particularly well, please flag it up in the comments. If you think the snow shoes that you get that wrap around the tyres work effectively, let us know. If you've had experiences with snow chains and you've got any tips to buying or choosing snow chains, please let me know. I'm going to try and drop a few links in the comments to some products that you will find useful during the winter period. And we do earn a little bit of commission, so if you use those links to buy things, it doesn't cost you any more, but the companies that have provided the links will give us a little bit of commission, and that helps to offset our running costs, which do seem to be creeping up all the time at the moment. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We would love you to stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.